Hey everybody, it's Angie and welcome to Hot and Flashy. Today's video is for the garden lovers out there. I've been showing you guys little snippets of my backyard and my gardens kind of in the background of my Foundation Friday videos or over on Instagram. I like to post my flowers a lot and so many of you have asked for a garden tour. I'm leaving this house and leaving my gardens behind, and so I won't be showing them to you anymore. They are my, aside from my children and my YouTube channel, my crowning achievement. But sadly, I have to leave them behind and say goodbye. So I am in the process of moving, and so I'm pre-filming a few videos just to put up while I'm super busy. So I thought it would just be fun to go outside, take a walk around my property. My house is situated on an acre of land, and when I bought this house 25 years ago, it really didn't have, you know, it had the standard foundation shrubs and stuff, but I have transformed my backyard into a little paradise. I love it back there. I'm going to miss it so much. But I'll be able to do a little gardening in my new place. Not a ton like here, but it is getting overwhelming for me to take care of it now at this point. So it's fine. There will be a nice young couple living here, and hopefully they will get into it as much as I did and be able to maintain the beds. I mean, they are self-maintaining right now. I mean, the stuff just comes up and does its thing. All you have to do is a little mulching and weeding and edging, and bam, you're done. Make it sound so easy. No, I spent hours and hours and hours slaving out there. You gardeners, you know what it's like. So anyway, let's go outside and take a look at my gardens. Let's start the garden tour. This is my long driveway that I told you about in last week's video, that I have fun with the snowblower, and I'm looking forward to never shoveling or snow blowing this driveway again, because it does snow here a lot in Massachusetts. So anyway, it's a lovely circular drive, and it's got a picket fence in front of the house. And I have this bed here with these hemlocks and some dogwoods and some ivy. So that's the front yard with the big circle. The side yard, I don't really do any gardening over there, but I did have these big trees planted along the property line years ago. So they've all grown in, and that gives me some nice privacy over there. And then over here at the front of the house, most of these foundation shrubs were here when I bought the house, but this little garden bed in front was not here. And I did have this pretty gravel driveway put in as well, and I had the cobblestone border put in as well. This garden gets full hot sun in the afternoon, so these are all very drought tolerant and very sun-loving plants. So this is like a little type of geranium. It's very sweet. It doesn't bloom very long, but it's very pretty. It has pink flowers. These are all black-eyed Susans right here. They're not blooming yet, but they will later in the summer. So I like to have my garden so there's always something blooming. That's kind of how you work with perennials, because, you know, they don't bloom very long, so you have to kind of time them and sequence them so you always have a little bit of color. So this will all be yellow and golden in the fall, and right now in the spring I've got kind of a purple and lime green theme going here with these pretty purple salvias. And then this plant is one of my favorites. This is called Lady's Mantle, and it has the prettiest leaf. They're a little bit fuzzy and they're just gorgeous, but in the morning when there's dew on them, it collects in the leaves and it's just so beautiful. And this is the little flower. It's just a tiny little flower. Here's some like heucheras and some sedums, and this is a weed. Here, let me do some weeding while we're out here. There's some clover. We don't want that in there. So anyway, you know, weeding is a lot of which one of these things is not like the others, right? Back there, that's another geranium that will bloom purple any day now. The one in the backyard is already blooming, but that one's not. These are purple cone flowers, so they'll bloom pink pretty soon. And I've got a bunch of those in here. Here you can kind of see, is one of them coming up? That's the little flower head. Those will be opening soon. Down here, this is like the last bloom of this little columbine. Here's some more salvias. What do we have back there? A sedum, some asters. We have a little knockout rose there. There's my planter pots at the front door. Same kind of things over here. We've got a little columbine, some salvias, a whole bunch of lady's mantle. There's those little pink knockout roses. It's too bad we missed them. These are the sweetest little plants. These are little mini mini poppies, and they have like a peachy colored petal. And then over there's another thing that just passed. These little guys, this is geum, and that had an orange flower. So sorry we missed it. I'll try to insert pictures because I do take a lot of pictures of things of what it looked like when they were blooming. This is your standard holly. Then this is coral bells. These are so pretty. I love the way they like bounce in the breeze. And then this is just some more foundation shrubs. There's some more lady's mantle. This is a fern. I'm surprised this is taken off here in the sun. Ooh, look at that pretty bee. I have a little rose in there. Oh, he just went to show us the rose. And what else? More foundation shrubs and things. I have a big hole here. That shrub died last year. Here's some foxglove. It's really pretty. And then over this side, I have some sea holly and some red hot pokers. This is one of my favorite beds, especially this time of year when it is just a riot of flowers and colors. This is a climbing rose. This one's called Zephyrin Druin. Isn't she a beauty? And then I have it intermixed with a climbing clematis in white. So that climbs up this little archway. These guys here are lupins. They grow by the roadside wild in Texas. They're hard to grow here, so whenever I get them, it's really amazing. The street's so busy, sorry about the noise. My poppies are blooming. I love the seed heads on the poppies. The flowers are so pretty. It's just a sea of poppies right there, going down to that purple down there is more catmint. I've got a red rose back there. I've got some peonies blooming right up here in the front. I really can't wait for the peonies to all bloom because they are just great for cutting and bringing indoors. The poppies don't really do so good when you cut them. They're best left out on the plant. Here's some sedum. These are day lilies. These will be pink and they'll bloom later in the summer. This is catmint, and it just gives a nice pretty purple in the afternoon. Around the corner there are asters in the back, some liatris, and a pink daylily. She's so pretty. I just love that one. The liatris adds some height and texture. There's some pampas grass, another daylily. This one's more peach toned. There's a butterfly bush in the back and my oak leaf hydrangea here in the front. And then out in the front here, I put a little garden here by the fence, and actually I planted these trees. This guy right here, that's a weeping Alaskan cedar. Isn't it gorgeous? I just love how it kind of hangs down. But I planted that, I bought that tree at Home Depot maybe 8 years ago and planted it when it was 3 feet tall. Look at it now. Oh my gosh. There's a couple in the backyard that I'll show you. I just planted them last year, so they're still tiny. But I put some red roses. These are the knockout roses. So I've got some knockout roses, some daylilies. Sorry, it's rush hour. People are driving by. More knockout roses and daylilies here by the fence. My yard people did such a good job edging and mulching this year. A hosta. More knockout roses. Back here I have another clematis. This is a purple one. Isn't she just gorgeous? Oh my goodness. I love this one, and it's so healthy and it loves it under here. So I've kind of got this one up on 2 different trellises. All right, so let's go through the gate into the backyard. Look who's waiting for us. Are you waiting ever so patiently? Such a good girl. All right, so when you come into the backyard, love this time of day back here because it's nice and shady and cool. So this bed is more of a shady bed, although it does get some sun earlier in the day. So it's mainly like hostas, and this is miniature goat's beard. It's such a cool plant. I love that. The flowers are gorgeous. There's a little more lady's mantle. When I say I like lady's mantle, I love it. This is a Japanese forest grass. It's beautiful. This plant I'm so sad to leave behind. My daughter gave me this plant for Mother's Day years ago, but I mean it's way too big to move. That is a PG hydrangea, so that has the most beautiful, huge, white, pink blooms later in the summer. This will bloom in August. This is a regular endless summer hydrangea, so that will bloom blue and I'm not going to cut all these sticks off because eventually they will leaf out and have flowers. Back there is more hostas, more hostas. This is a stilbe here in front that's going to bloom pink. It's almost ready to burst, and that's kind of the rest of that bed, and that curves around over to the pool area. So this is kind of how the pool and patio is situated into this part of the house. It's kind of nestled into that corner. When we bought the house, there was no patio here. It was just grass, and there were just evergreen shrubs under that window and all along that wall and over here. So it wasn't a patio at all. We had all this put on, and then this was a one-story when we first bought it, and then we did this addition up. That's my master bedroom and master bathroom out there. So I love this patio. I'm gonna miss this patio. I know you guys are going to miss the patio too. We put in these walls, and I continued this garden back here. This is really shady back here, so we've got hostas, we've got forest grass. This has reverted back to some other kind of grass that could come out, more hostas. And this is the climbing hydrangea that I show you guys every year on Instagram when the bees are there, because this is so fragrant and beautiful when it's in bloom. It's blooming already, so these are what the flowers actually look like. This is the flower, like that's what it does. It's so pretty, but it's so fragrant, and the bees just love it. In a couple weeks, this whole area will just be buzzing. Let's see, back here, I have this planter that I always plant up with a variety of annuals every year. I have my little Papyrus plant there. You know, I just do various pots on the patio every year. I didn't do a lot of pots on the patio this year just because, you know, it's going to be moving. So, and then over here under this window, I just put in this small shade garden. I call this my black and white garden. Everything in here blooms white or has a dark purple leaf. So I call it black and white. So it's got some astilbes right here by the dog. They're ready to bloom. This is snake root. That is a gorgeous dark purple leaf, and it will shoot up these white bottle brush flowers later, late August, early September. This is a hydrangea. It's really pretty. What are you doing in there? And then we have some ferns. I love this painted leaf fern. It's so pretty. It's got this darker purple stem and green and white painted leaves. It's just such a stunner. And then this is Maidenhair Fern. Also beautiful, very light and fluffy. I just like the interplay of the different textures. What are you two doing in there? You smell something? What? You just want to be in the show. These are Hydrangea, I think. These will have little white flowers, and this is called Masterwort. This has a very delicate white flower, but it is so pretty. Look at that beautiful little flower. It's very tiny. It's only about, here he comes. Look out. Hello there, sir. What are you doing? Stop trampling the flowers. Yes, I know, you too. Anyway, I just think these are the most gorgeous little flowers. Aren't they just so pretty? So my pool has these funny little beds, so I planted some easy to maintain but flowers in there that love heat and are perennial, so everything comes up on its own. These guys were so cool. This is like what they're, oh, hello, spread some seeds. That's a really nice plant that doesn't really spread itself too much. More of that, more of that, more of that. This is a bloodgrass. This is really pretty, and it has these nice heads on it. There's my greenhouse. You can't really grow anything in it because you need heat and water in a greenhouse to grow things. So it's just mainly for storage. These were my vegetable beds. I didn't plant them this year. Then this bed here is what I call the strip bed. This bed was here when I moved in, but I've changed out all the plants in it. This is the last area that I had to do, so there's not much in there, but the rest of it is very full. And I'm doing more like pink knockout roses back here. Okay, these are actually tiger lilies, and I didn't plant them. They just come up every year, so that's cool. Those are daylilies, and so this will be like a yellow and purple garden as the summer wears on. Those are little crazy daisies back there. And then of course way in the back I have the stone border wall, and I love that bed. I had that wall built just to make a raised bed back there. So I have red and white and purple theme going on back there. I actually wanted those roses to be pink, but my landscaper planted the original, just the roses in that one, and he got the wrong color. But everything else that's planted here I do myself. I know some people think I like have a gardener. But I'm the gardener. I do all the gardening, like even the trees that I've planted. We'll see this birch tree in a couple minutes. So these are daylilies. They're not blooming yet. They're called lamb's ears because look, little lambs. Oh, ma'am, really? They're called lamb's ears because it's soft and it has this white fur in it. This is a really pretty plant. This is the flower. It's kind of purple. These are irises. They just finished. This is that same little geranium that I showed you out front that I said was purple and would be blooming soon. So this out here, it blooms sooner. I'm not sure why, but this is the same plant. And then in there's more irises, more weeds, then more knockout roses. In this garden, I've got roses, daylilies, more roses. This is catmint. I had lavender here, but lavender doesn't do well here. The winter's too cold. These are coral bells. These are really sweet. And then behind there, I have some crazy daisies. So that's white. Back there is a little miniature rose of Sharon. Then I have some decorative grasses. That's the same tree as out front when it's young. So I just planted that one last summer. So that guy is only about 3 feet tall, but within just a few years that will grow up to be that huge tree that you saw out front. So those are fast growers and they'll take up a lot of space and, you know, really kind of mask the fence and everything. I put that bamboo in because that was just chain link, and that's this little garden, more daylilies over there, and that's just kind of the part that I let go wild behind the garage. Then if we continue on over here, this is the shed where I keep all the pool supplies. And this garden I put in a couple of years ago because all the foundation shrubs were getting so overgrown. I had them transplanted into this bed because this neighbor behind me, that used to be all wooded before, and he cut down all the trees like 7 years ago. Since then he has replanted, but I didn't know what he was going to do back there. And so I had a bunch of shrubs planted there just, you know, for a little privacy. I was going to continue the bamboo over here along the chain link, but I never finished it, and now I'm selling the house. So anyway, won't be doing that. But here's another big hosta. There's some more of that miniature goat's beard. This is another PG hydrangea, a hosta, some crazy daisies. You notice there's a lot of repeats in my yard. It's because in New England, you know, a ton of things don't grow here. A lot of things you put in and they die. So the carpet, you know, the knockout roses do well. The crazy daisies do well. The hydrangeas do well. That's a little cypress tree my friend gave me. That's a holly I transplanted from the front. This gorgeous plant is a type of a willow, and it comes in a shrub form or a tree form. This is how the leaves come out in the spring. They come out pink with green speckles, and even the veins are pink. So it's just so beautiful. Later in the summer, this will just be all green. It won't have any pink on it anymore, but it's such a beautiful plant, and it grows so fast and takes up so much room. Those things are monsters. They just grow enormous. This is a rose of Sharon, so that will bloom either pink or white later in the summer. This is a gorgeous plant. This is a Daphne, and it has pink flowers that are so fragrant earlier in the spring, but that one's done already. This one is a clethra, and it has pink little bottle brush flowers in like September. So these are from last year, and that's very fragrant. There's an oak leaf hydrangea. There's a rhododendron in the back, another rose of Sharon, another rhodie. This is a giant rhodie that's been here the entire time that I've owned the house. Some more of that forest grass, some other things. Like, I like to do underplantings like this so that I don't have to use a lot of mulch and that there's good color combinations going on. Like, this is a beautiful color combination right in here. I just love this little color combo, and I like all the different textures as well. Oh, here he goes. Whee! He's got a piece of mulch. So that's a view of the patio and the gardens from out here. And then our last little garden is this one over here. I wanted this to be a new bed about, I don't know, maybe 7 or 10 years ago, and I wanted to feature a birch tree, so I planted that birch tree right there, and when it was just a little baby, and now look at it. It's huge. A lot of glare from the sun there. Let's see if we can see it from the other angle. Yeah, here's the birch tree. These river birches really grow fast, and it's a beautiful tree, and it's got the split trunk. And then in the front here, oh, this was beautiful last week. I wish I had shot this then, but this is a tree peony and it had beautiful yellow flowers. And here's some regular peonies that are about to bloom. This is, I forget what it's called. It's a summer flowering shrub that'll have blue flowers later in the summer. There's some salvia, bless you, whoever that was. And look at my foxgloves. Oh my gosh, I planted so many foxgloves in here years ago, and you know, they're biennial, so they set seeds and then they're supposed to come up later, and they've never come up. And this year, I don't know, something with the weather must have just worked out in my favor, but I have got a little mini forest of foxgloves here, all purple and pink and white, and it's just so beautiful. This is a new grass that I planted in here this year because some of those, oh, that's what they're called, Caryopteris over there. Some of the Caryopteris died because they get too much shade over here. So I put in some shady forest grasses. This is a Baptisia. This is a beautiful plant with these gorgeous purple flowers on it. I've got a little rhododendron back there that I planted. So that'll grow up big and block some of the fence back there. And this is a lilac that was blooming last week, but now it's all done, and there's a spirea behind there with the white flowers. That's an old-fashioned plant called bridal wreath. This is just kind of a tree area with shrubs, and there's the pool filter, and then this little garden I love back by the gate. I put in this tree when it was a baby tree, this dogwood tree. And this is really pretty. The blooms look mainly white right now, but they actually have pink on the edges. It's all speckled. It's so pretty. And the flowers this year, it has so many flowers. It's just gorgeous this year. So that's getting big. These are anemones. They will bloom with a pink flower in August. And then this is pink blooming astilbe. This is more of that goat's beard. There's some echinacea. This is a really pretty plant. I think it's a type of salvia. Back here is a white astilbe. Isn't that pretty? I just love the textures and the shapes and the colors. A lot of ferns and a lot of hostas back there in different shapes and colors. This is a great little plant called Mucdemia, and it will put up little white flowers later in the summer, but you know, check out the colors of this leaf. Isn't it beautiful? This was supposed to be a shade garden. I planted this garden, I'm not sure what his name is, but that's a pretty like succulent. I planted this garden when there was a crabapple tree here, and then it got fire blight and I had to cut it down. So then I put in this tree when it was like this tall, and I've been waiting for it to grow and shade the garden, but in the meantime it's been like a sun garden. So a lot of the shady stuff kind of struggled for a few years, but now that it's shady in here again, it's looking really, really good. And this will be a little red astilbe. And here's more of that painted fern. See, this is the difference between like getting the sun and getting the shade. Like this is a shade-loving plant, and when it gets more sun, like this one is right now, it kind of washes out the color. It's a little bit paler, but over here where it's more in the shade, look how intense the color is. This is the color that it's supposed to be if it's in the shade, and it's just so gorgeous. So again, another really pretty. And this little plant, this is another one where I love the foliage on it. Just that leaf with those red veining, it's so beautiful. And then these tiny little buds right here, these will burst into the most gorgeous flowers in about a week. Then there's some more hostas over there, some more of this forest grass. So that's it for today's video. Thanks so much for watching. I hope that all of you real gardeners out there like the little garden tour. So I'll see you in the next video. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.